What's up guys, Dragonheir here, and today I have two different teams for two different Continental Bosses for you, but don't worry, I will show you what's the core of the team and which champion you can sub for the champion that you own, so you don't need to build the exact same team that I am using. So let's go right into it.
Even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go.
Alright guys, welcome to our first Continental Boss, and it's Vinyara. I will show you first what the boss does, then I will show you the team, then I will show you the run, and after that the builds. So let's start with the boss, or with the stage. So all your single target damage or skills, the damage is increased by 50% as you see here. And for every debuff dispelled from the boss, allies gain 25% attack up for 15 seconds. And the boss does, on the battle skill, he gains shield for 10 seconds, then defense up to and 30% damage reduction. And on the ultimate, same as Vinyara, deals cold damage to an enemy, dispel all buffs from them, with a 100% chance of inflicting frozen for 5 seconds, and attack penalty 2 for 10 seconds. Also, the passive, if the shield of the boss is not dispelled within its duration, the boss gains 1 stack of undispellable 10% damage reduction, up to 10 stacks, lasting indefinitely. When stacked to max, the boss will enter an undispellable invincibility state. So you don't want this shield to stay on the boss. So you want dispel shields and steal buffs, right? Because if you steal buffs, you will get the attack bonus. So let me show you the team. So I'm using Brood, or Brody, then Vinyara, and then Flora for the Wild Heroes, Elfie, and Felicity. Core of this team is Broody and Vinyara. Because what Broody can do is, on his ultimate, he removes shields from the enemies in range and deals some fire damage, and also gains defense up to for 6 seconds. So he will steal the boss shield. So we will not let the boss to stack the damage reduction, right? We don't want any damage reduction on the boss, so we can do as much damage as possible. And then Vinyara, perfect, because she on her ultimate steals all their buffs, or dispel all their buffs, and reduce their ultimate energy by 100%, that's fine, and inflicting frozen and attack penalty. Also, I'm using the Crown of Unclean on her, because I'm using the Which Remains on my Felicity. I will show you the builds after. So what this does is, when the boss puts the defense up and 30% damage reduction, Vinyara will use her ultimate, steal it, and then Broody will destroy the shield as well. So these two heroes are the main. Then it's up to you which free DPS you will use. I'm using my Flora team because my Flora is like the best single target hero for me. But it's up to you. Which free champions you use, it's up to you for the DPS. Only champions that matter is Vinyara and Broody. Real quick, I will show you the skill timings for this. So I'm using my Vinyara at 11 seconds and then 20 seconds recast. And it's all because the boss does the battle skill at 9 seconds. So I give it 2 seconds more because it takes a little bit of time for the boss to put the the buffs on her. So that's why I'm not using it immediately at like 10 seconds. That's why I'm giving it a little bit of time. So I'm using it 11 seconds. And then she will push the meter back to 9 seconds, which is 2 seconds more. So now the boss is at 20 seconds interval. So that's why her recast is at 20 seconds. Same with Broody. I'm using him at 12 seconds because I'm waiting for the shield to come on a little bit. Because when I was using him at 11 seconds, sometimes the shield, like the boss didn't put the shield on, and he put the shield on after he used his ultimate, right? So that's something we don't want to happen. So I'm giving a little bit more time. That's why he's at 12 seconds and then 20 seconds recast. Also, one more thing. I'm using my Flora only the first cast. It doesn't matter, pretty much her default. So she will use it at 11 seconds, her ultimate, right? And then Felicity, I have it at 11.5 seconds first, because I want her to use her ultimate after Flora, at least the first round. Then it's up to default, because Felicity has this awesome stuff in her build, which is on her passive, I believe. I will show you real quick. She gains 3% ultimate energy when battle skill and ultimate skill triggers critical hits. So that's why I have her on default and not on any type of skill timing after the first round or after the first cast, because I have her with 100% crit rate, which means she will boost her ultimate, so she can use the ultimate twice sometimes within the Flora ultimate, which is amazing because then the Flora can proc this. So if the vortex energy reaches 16 stack, it deals extreme amount of derivative damage, right? That's why Flora shines. So that's the skill timings. Now I'll show you the run, and after that I'll show you the builds. So let's go into it. You will see I will slow it down, at least at the beginning, to 2x. So the boss put the shield and damage reduction. Now Vinyara stole it. And now Broody will steal the the shield from the boss. So it's fine. I mean, the boss still has some defense up. I don't know why, but that's fine. And you see, it was the proc from Flora Ultimate. So right now she's at 150 damage per second, but you will see the number will be way higher than this. So let me speed it up a little bit, because you see, put the buffs on, Vinyara steals it, then Broody steals the shield, rinse and repeat on every 20 seconds. Also, you want to build these champions with at least 270, 260 accuracy. If you can build it with 300 accuracy, it's even better, because then the run will be like 100% kinda. Because if you go lower than 250 to 60 accuracy, sometimes they will not dispel these buffs, especially the shield. So if Broody misses the shield, that's 10% damage reduction, and it's something we really don't want to happen, because then our damage will be much lower. As you see, Flora is already at 250, 280, but that's not it. She will do way more damage. It's still a little bit RNG. It depends on the wild dices, right? So if your heroes roll a lot of dice 6, on their dices, they will do way more damage. So definitely you will do like 2, 3, maybe even 4 runs to see which damage is the best. This team, the highest damage that I was able to do was around 180 million damage, which I think is pretty solid, because I don't have any of these champions are not inspired or anything, but they are fully scrolled, all of them. That's the only like kinda hard thing to do sometimes. But it's 3 legendary heroes and 2 epic heroes. Maybe you can get away with Vinyara not being fully scrolled, but then it depends on your skill haste on her, right? If you can put her at 20 seconds recast, you don't need to scroll her. If you cannot do that, then you can also put her first skill, at like 12 seconds, which gives you 21 seconds recast, and then you should be fine. So maybe you don't need to scroll Vinyara. So you can save the scrolls, the legendary scrolls on Vinyara for this team. And everybody else, you kind of want to scroll them. Broody, it depends. Like if you can get the skill haste like that high that he can cast it every 20 seconds, then you don't need it, but it's up to you. It also matters the first skill, right? I want it to be at 12 seconds. So the scrolls help a lot with that. But if you can get there without the scrolls, that's fine. The Flora is already at 560k damage per second. And this run is at what? 179 million damage. 180. This might be one of my better runs, wow. 183 million damage. Can we do one more proc, Flora? Oh yeah, we did. It jumped at the end. It was almost 200 million damage. 194, that's the highest damage I have done. I'm glad it happened on a video. Perfect. I will show you that Flora did 171 million damage. Then Felicity, I think, is 70 million damage, right? So Flora does all the damage, but she needs the wild team around her. I will save this run, because that was my best damage, for sure. And then I'll show you the build. Alright guys, so here's the team. I just went to dungeon, the Grave of Venom, for fun. So I want to show you the builds in here. So I will start with Broody, my tank. And debuffer, right? The shield stealer, kinda. Or shield dispeller. So I have him built with 94k HP, 4k defense, and then 283 accuracy and 28 skill haste. I'm also using this Scarab Amulet on him, because he's the only tank. There's one more thing that's very nice about this dungeon, is that Vinyara only targets one champion, right? So she will only target your tank, which is why you can build every other DPS with a lot of damage. So I believe if you have like really good Dauntless champions, you can definitely use them there, because Vinyara will not target them, so you can build them with amazing amount of damage, especially if they are like single target damage dealers. So that's Broody. Also I'm using the Tundra Tenacity for the HP and accuracy, and the Ancestor Protection for the HP and defense. Some skill haste on the runes. But you should be fine if you can get these skill timings lower, right? That's why I have him scroll, because without scrolls I can get to 12 seconds and then 20 seconds recast. But if you have any kind of artifacts that boost your skill timings, there is one, I think the Hourglass or something like that. So if you have that, maybe you can get away without like scrolling him. So that's Broody. Then I'll show you my Vinyara. So I have a build with 49k HP, almost 47k HP. Then 2.3k defense, 2.1k attack, and 340 accuracy. Also, I'm using this Magic Crystal Refinement. The Weaver gains additional attack equal to 300% of current accuracy. Also, I'm using the Holy Hunter for the accuracy and skill haste. I have her build with 39 skill haste, but it's not that important because if you scroll her, she can do her ultimate relatively quickly. But without the scrolls, I believe if you have like 40, 50 skill haste, maybe like 60 skill haste, I don't think you need to scroll her at all. Maybe even lower than that. Maybe with what I have, it will be like what, plus 3 seconds here, so it will be 19.9 seconds, and then 30 seconds here. So maybe for the initial, you probably want to scroll her, but as I told you, if you don't scroll her, you can use the skill time is a little bit different. So you can do like 12 seconds, and then it will be like plus 3, so 12 seconds and then 21 seconds recast, something like that. It's up to you. But I went for the scrolls on her because I'm using her a lot in a lot of dungeons, so for me, it was like justifiable to scroll her. Then I will start with my wild heroes, Elfie. I have him built with 51k HP, 2.4k defense, 3k attack, 85 almost 86% crit rate, then 50% crit damage, and 31 skill haste. I will show you why I have the skill haste that high. I'm also using the Brotherhood Spirit, because when the Weaver casts an ultimate skill, all allies elemental damage increase by 15% for 10 seconds. Also I'm using this Spiritual Ancestor Burner, because it increases the Weaver ultimate energy by 9% or 10% if you have it fully level up, after unleashing ultimate skill. And I want his ultimate to be always up, because on the ultimate, he creates a magic circle lasting for 15 seconds in the target area, and ally wild dice rolls within have 70% chance to increase the result by 1. It's for 15 seconds, right? And with 31 skill haste and fully scroll, I have this at 15 seconds recast, pretty much. So it's always on, which means I have always this buff for my wild dice, right? So that's why it can help a lot for my, flora damage. Also, the skill haste is very nice because on his ultimate, every time he does the ultimate, the Brotherhood Spirit proc as well, which means my heroes will do 15% more damage, right, for 10 seconds. So that's why I'm using him with a lot of skill haste. Then for Felicity, what is my secondary DPS and debuffer at the same time, I have her build with 61k HP, 4.6k attack, 100% crit rate, that's very important, you want 100% crit rate, and then 83% crit damage, and some accuracy, because I have the Witch Remains on her, so she puts the defense penalty 2 on the boss. She will do it almost 100% of the time, because on the ultimate she does 5 fire beams, so she will hit the boss 5 times, and each time has 60% chance to put defense penalty 2, so that's pretty much, you have to be really, really unlucky not to put the defense penalty 2 on a boss. And also on her ultimate, she has 100% chance on inflicting defense penalty for 10 seconds. Right? And her defense penalty can stack up to 8 times, and each stack gives you 2% reduced defense. So that's additional 16% defense down. I'm pretty sure these stacks, her defense penalty and the Witch Remains defense penalty too, I'm pretty sure it stacks because it shows on the boss these two debuffs at the same time, right? So I'm pretty sure it stacks. But if it doesn't, let me know down below in the comment section, but I would be really surprised if it doesn't stack. And 100% crit rate, because as I told you earlier, on her passive, she gains 3% ultimate energy when battle skill and ultimate skill triggers critical hits. That's why I only have her skill timing for the first cast, and then I'm using default. Because I'm counting on her doing a lot of crit damage on her battle skill, because she can do up to 3 times damage, right? If she rolls 4 or above. And then her ultimate, it's 5 beams, right? And then she can shoot 3 extra beams when wild dice rolls 5 and higher. So that's why she will do a lot of crits, which means she will boost her ultimate turn meter a lot. Which means more stacks for Flora to do her damage. So talking about Flora, let's show her how I have a build. I have 42k HP, almost 43, then 1800 defense, 7k attack, and 276 enlightenment. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I don't care that much about skill haste and accuracy. If you can get more skill haste, it could be better. She would be doing more her ults, which means more damage. So if you can get to like 40 skill haste, do it. I'm also using the Witch Remains, or the Queen's Fan, because it boosts my derivative damage based on how far I'm away from the target. So it's capped at 5 tiles. So at 5 tiles, I'm doing 35% more derivative damage. And then I'm using every mythical piece on her. I'm using the Chaos Symbiosis, because it gives me extra damage based on how many allies of the same school I have on the team. In my case, it's +3, I believe, or maybe +4. I don't know what school counts as well. I think it's only +3, right? The wildfire. So that's what 18% more damage here. Then I'm using the Strike the Unprepared. When the Weaver deals 3% increased damage to enemies under defense penalty, which I will have on the boss pretty much all the time. And then I'm using that record. When the Weaver deals derivative damage, marks the target to increase their derivative damage taken by 20% for 12 seconds. So this might be good because if you build more skill haste, maybe then you will do even more damage because on the ultimate she does derivative damage, right? On her butter skill, she does derivative damage as well. So you probably don't need that much skill haste. But I think it's not bad to have more skill haste on her. And I'm sorry, the last piece is the Fearless Challenger. The Weaver deals 16% increased damage to enemies with max HP higher than the hero by 50%, which I'm pretty sure this boss does. So it should stack as well on my damage. So that's the first team. One more time, the skill timing. So put Vinyara at 11 seconds, then 20 seconds recast. Flora, you can do it on default or like 11 seconds, doesn't matter. Because I have it on 11 seconds and also I have 20 seconds recast. That's fine. Alfie, you don't care about him on the default. All you want is to put the ultimate at 15 seconds recast, which means the wild dice rolls will be always up, you know, by 1. And then Felicity, only put the first skill right after Flora, right? Because then Flora put this on the boss, the vortex, right? And then when it reaches 16 stack, it deals extra damage. So that is why you want to Flora ultimate first, and then Felicity right after. And then turn the recast on default. As I explained earlier, she will do a lot of crits, which means she will do a lot of ultimates. And then Broody, set him at 12 seconds, and then 20 seconds recast. So that's the first team, and then I will show you the second team. Alright guys, so here is my Vasska team. You know, the second Continental Challenge boss for us. And here what's very important is healer reduction. I will show you why. Each time an ally ultimate skill hits an enemy, the next cast of their ultimate skill deals a 10% more damage. That's good. And when the boss is affected by healing reduction or healing reversal, deals 3% less damage. So if you put the heal reduction on the boss, he will do less damage. And also, you will counter his passive, which is for each million healing received, inflicts 1 stack of irresistible and undispellable 3% attack penalty on all enemies up to 30 stacks. So you want the healing reduction to be on the boss almost 100% of the time, because then you will prevent this attack penalty and also the boss will do less damage, right? So are the two main things you want to do. And it's very important because he will summon these spirits, and when they attack, they will heal the boss, right? So when the boss or the summoned units deal damage, the boss receives healing. So that's why you want the heal reduction to be always on, because he does a lot of summoning. He summons 2 spirits for 6 seconds on the first 2 casts, and then on the ultimate deals necrotic damage to all enemies and summon 1 spirit near each target hit for 24 seconds. Can summon up to 5 spirits per skill cast. So there will be a lot of summon in the arena or in the dungeon. So for the heal reduction, I'm also using this rare hero, Sigrid. She's awesome, especially if you can put a lot of debuffs on the enemy, if you can do like area debuff, because she will hit everybody, right? She will hit all enemies inflicted with the debuff with 70% chance of inflicting, if you scroll her, with 100% chance inflicting healing prohibition and attack penalty too. So the two most important debuffs for this dungeon, right? Healing reduction and attack penalty. For my second healing reduction champion, I'm also using Rippercus. Awesome hero for this dungeon. And what he does is on his ultimate, he launches 3 spirit attacks at the enemies, right, in this star shape. And he has 35% chance reducing their ultimate energy. That's okay, by 20%. And then if you scroll him, 100% chance of inflicting 1 random debuff from the following for 10 seconds. So he does 3 hits, so that's 3 random debuffs from this pool. Attack penalty 2, recharging speed penalty, healing prohibition, accuracy penalty 2, and then buff prohibition. So the healing reduction or healing prohibition and attack penalty 2 are the 2 most important ones, right? So it's a little bit RNG which one he put on, but he will cast quite often, you will see, because I have him built with this, with the Tundra Tenacity, which gives me, the Weaver gains 1% ultimate energy each time taking damage, and he will take a lot of damage. because I'm also using Thorin as my healing champion, but not only for the healing, for the invisibility. So he will put invisibility on my whole team except for the champion he marks, and he always marks the champion in front of him, which in this case is Repercast. So when the boss summons all the units around me, you know, that's why I have them in a corner, another thing, because he will summon all the units around me like this, right? And then Thorin will put invisibility, which means all these units around me, like right here, they will go and attack Repercast, which means he will cast more often his ultimates, and also the more enemies around him, because he will be close to the boss, means higher chance of him using the ultimate to hit the boss, right? So that's why Thorin is MVP in this stage if you're using Repercast. Like these two are like the main two units. Sigrid also very important, so I would say these three units, Thorin, Repercast, and Sigrid are like the core. And then it's up to you which two like damage dealer you use. I would really recommend to use two AoE damage dealers. So if you have like Frost champions like Vitar and someone else, definitely use them because they will do crazy amount of damage here. But I'm using Zadok and I'm using Premsta for my DPS. And Zadok in this stage does actually like 3 times or like 2 times more damage than Premsta, a legendary hero. So before I do the run, let me show you how I have them built. So I have my Repercast with 87k HP, almost 88k HP, then 4.5k defense, 330 accuracy. Then I'm using the Wish Remains on him, and also the Tundra Tenacity, for the ultimate recharge. And also I'm using the Ancestral Guidance, but it's not for the for the lifesteal stuff. It's mainly because it has defense on it, percentage defense, then some defense as well, and some accuracy. That's pretty much why I'm using this piece, not for the passive, right? Because it grants the Weaver 50% basic attack lifesteal, gaining additional 50% lifesteal when HP is below 25%. It can help, but it's not that important. It's mainly for the for the stats. So if you can use any type of other piece, legendary piece, definitely use it. But I would really recommend to use the Tundra Tenacity for the ultimate boost. If you don't have him with crazy amount of skill haste. In my case, I don't have that many like runes, with skill haste for the necrotic. So that's why I'm using this gear. Then Thorin, I have him built with 124k HP, 2.1k defense, and 261 enlightenment, and a little bit of skill haste. The skill haste is actually very important because you want the invisibility to be often, on your allies. So that's why I would recommend to build him with like even more than 18, like 20 to 30, maybe even 40 skill haste would be better. Also, I'm using the Mirror of the Living for the healing boost, right? And then I'm using the Ancestral Protection because it decreases the Weaver damage taken by 10%, while 15% of other allies' damage taken is transferred to him. So he will help to tank, the boss and the minions summon. Because he will summon the minions around you, so they will hit your DPS. Which is also why Premsta is in a corner, because she is a little bit squishier than Zadok. So I don't want her to be hit by the minions. And I have her build like this. 44k HP, almost 1600 defense, 6.2k attack, 349 enlightenment, a little bit of crit rate and crit damage, and then a little bit of skill haste, 12 skill haste. I'm using the Queen's Fan on her for the derivative damage based on how far I'm away from the targets. And then I'm using the Platinum Knight quality because it gives me attack percentage, enlightenment. Also, for 12 seconds after the Weaver unleashes an ultimate skill, damage dealt increased by 30%. Very nice on her. And also, the chest piece, I'm using the Dead Record. When the Weaver deals derivative damage, marks the target to increase their derivative damage taken by 20% for 12 seconds. Very good. And next champion I will show you is Sigrid. I have her built with 46k HP, 2.5k defense, 2.8k attack. Definitely build her with attack, she can do a little bit of damage as well. And then 333 accuracy. Very important because you want to place the healing reduction and the attack penalty too. Another good thing that I'm using on her is the Crown of the Unclean for the defense penalty one. So sometimes when the Repercast doesn't hit the boss, at least she might have a chance to hit the boss, right? So she will put the defense penalty. At least it's better to have defense penalty 1 than no defense penalty, right? Another thing that I'm using is the Brotherhood Spirit, because when the Weaver casts an ultimate skill, all allies' elemental damage increased by 15% for 10 seconds. Same as I'm using on Elfie. So she's a debuffer and also boosts my team's damage, right? Thanks to this gear. And for the mythical piece, I'm using this one, the Magic Crystal Refinement, and it gives me attack equal to 300% of the current accuracy. And then the most important hero, Zadok, the main DPS. I have him built with almost 46k HP, 1400, almost 1400 defense, then 4.4k attack, 100% crit rate, and then 263% crit damage. Also, I'm using this Great Demon Skull because it gives me attack and crit rate. And when an ally summon an undead creature, necrotic damage dealt by the Weaver will increase by 5% for 10 seconds. And it can stop up to 10 times, up to 6 times. So definitely use this mythical artifact if you have it. It's amazing. Then for the gear, Imperial Executioner for the attack percentage, the crit rate, and when the Weaver skill damage triggers a critical hit, that damage additionally increased by 60%. Since I have him with 100% crit rate, he will proc this, right? So his ultimate will do bonus 16% damage. Very nice. So that's the build. I will show you a little bit of skill timings. I'm pretty sure I'm using none. So everything is on default. And let's go through the run. I'm also using the resistance. You can also use the accuracy. Doesn't matter which one you use. That's why maybe if you have like some frost heroes and someone who can do like bonus attack percentage, it might be better. But my Zadok is insanely good for this. So maybe I'll slow it down a little bit at the beginning. Come on, 2x. Come on. So that's the invincibility. A little bit too soon, but that's fine. As you see, they summon around me. And because they didn't see me, they all ran to Repercast and Dark Flame Phoenix. So that's why he's hitting the boss now. And now I can do a lot of damage from a safety. Right? Because these summon units, they are not bothering my DPS at all. We are able to put the healing reduction on a boss. But even then, we still got one of the stack on us. So that's minus 3% of damage, right? Or minus 3% attack. As you see, Zadok is already at 100k damage per second. Premstar is right behind him with 100k. But Zadok will stack his attack right up. So he will do way more damage later on, you will see. I will speed it up a little bit. So that's why I'm using this Torrent. You see the invisibility, which means the summons will run to the tank in the middle of the arena. And then Repercast have a really high percentage or really high chance of hitting the boss with his ultimate. So that's why he will put a lot of debuffs on him. And this is a little bit of RNG. Because he will only use 3 debuffs from his pool of I think 6 debuffs, right? So you will do like couple rounds. Definitely do couple rounds because some rounds he will not put the healing prohibition on the boss that often, especially at the beginning of the run, which means the boss will put this nasty debuff on you, right? The attack percentage down debuff. I think each one is minus 3%, right? So right now I'm sitting at minus 9% attack. Very nasty debuff. But my Zadok is already at 170k damage, and Premstar at 120. Now he's at 200. So each ultimate, his damage will skyrocket, you will see. Very amazing, or like very good epic hero for this dungeon. Excuse me. So this is it. I will speed it up now to 4x, because it's all the same. Maybe if you struggle, then you can play a little bit with skill timings, but I found out that for me it's better not to use any skill timings. Because I want my Zadok to cast as often as possible, same with Repercast, and then Sigrid same way. Because I want the Repercast to put a lot of debuffs on everybody, which means Sigrid will hit everybody who has a debuff. So that's why she can do a little bit of damage, and also put the healing reduction, or the healing prohibition. So Zadok is already at 200 and almost 214, 250, 240 now damage per second. Sometimes he reaches around 250, 260. So this is one of the lower runs, I would say. Yeah, 250 now. Maybe he can do more. We have 8 stacks on us. That's very nasty debuff. We still have 1 minute to go, so maybe we'll reach like 130 million damage. This run is this dungeon, it varies between like 110 to 160 million damage. So definitely do a couple of reruns. But if you have similar builds like me, you should be able to get to 150 million damage relatively often, I would say. So this is one of the, slower runs, I would say. Only 130 million damage, like average for me, for this run. So that's what I get, right? I got I got my personal best on Vinyara, so now I'm on average when it comes to Vasska. So let me do a couple of quick battles, and then I will show you the best result, right? The best damage that I can do. Alright guys, this was like what, third rerun that I did, and I managed to reach 159 million damage, very close to 160, so I will keep it, I will save it, because I never got more than 160, I got like 161, 162. Maybe there is a way to do more damage, but right now, this is the best I can do for Vasska. So I will save it, and then I have 4 more bosses to do, but I still need to figure out better teams. Right now I have teams that do like around 80 to 1 million, well, 80 to 100 million damage, but I want to show you a little bit more. I want to show you at least 140, 150 million damage on each boss. Alright guys, I'm back at the Grave of Venom, and I forgot that I want to show you the subs, right, for the Vasska team. So you want the healing reduction and attack penalty. So I'll do the healing reduction here. So another very good hero is Tabler, but unfortunately I don't have him scroll and fully talented, so in my case he would do like less damage. I would be like around 90 million damage from what I tried. But he's nice because on his ultimate he does the attack penalty, attack penalty 2 and accuracy penalty around him, the star shape around him. And also the damage around him is scaled with enlightenment, so it's derivative poison damage. So he can do like decent amount of damage. And the butter skill, very important. He plants a mushroom near the enemies, and the mushroom has 100% chance of inflicting down for 5 seconds, which means the minions will, cluster around it. But sometimes what's unfortunate is that when Thorin does the invisibility, he will put the invisibility on the shrooms as well. So that's, why the combination doesn't work as good as it does with Rippercast. But still, if you don't have Rippercast, with Talwar, if you have him scroll, I don't recommend to fully scroll him. Because he's good, but I don't think he's that good that he is worth your scrolls. At least not right now, if you like a newer account or stuff like that. So definitely save the scrolls on him. I mean, he is good. He's not bad, but he's not like crazy OP. And what the shroom does is taunt for 5 seconds. And when the mushroom dies, it deals some derivative poison damage. So it scales a little bit enlightenment once again. And then it has 100% chance of inflicting stun for 3 seconds. And 100% chance of inflicting healing reduction for 10 seconds. So that's how you can get healing reduction with Towler, right? And each debuff on enemies on the field grants 2% damage reduction to the hero. And the effect can stack up to 10 times. So he can be tanky as well, right? Because there is a lot of debuffs, so his defense will go up. So that's Tolver. Then another good hero is this new hero, or like new hero, the hero from this event. And it's Utor, right? Or Utior. But he's not a tank. He is more like a Sigrid replacement. Because he does, on his battle skill, he deals some damage in this 3x3 area. And he has 75% chance, if you scroll him, 100% chance on inflicting attack penalty 2 and healing prohibition on the target for 5 seconds. He's not bad, but it's only for 5 seconds, right? So that's not the best thing. And when any other hero unit dies, it gains 10% ultimate energy. But I don't think these summons count as a heroes, so I don't think he will get boosted to his ultimate. And his ultimate does the defense up and resurrection at that. So he's not bad, but definitely not the best substitution here. And another substitution for Sigrid is Dane. He can do on his ultimate this star shape. 75% if he's scoring 100% chance of inflicting attack penalty 1 for 10 seconds. And when he's targeting enemies with HP below 50%, he can steal all their buffs, but that's not happening here. But on his battle skill, he deals damage in this 3x3 area again. And he has 75% chance of inflicting fear for 3 seconds and healing prohibition for 5 seconds again. So you can do some healing prohibition as well if you don't have a Sigrid. But I'm pretty sure everybody has Sigrid. It's a rare hero. So definitely use Sigrid instead of Dane or Utior. And it's up to you which tank you use. If you use Tabler or if you go for Rippercast. But I would really recommend to use Rippercast for this. So that's the substitutions. And then it's up to you, the DPS. I think Frost heroes could be very nice in here. Especially if you have like Huitar. So definitely use Huitar. Maybe like Rava as well. So if you use like Rava and Huitar, it could be like good combination. Unfortunately, I don't have her, so I can't test her and compare it to Premsta. But something is telling me that she might be able to do more damage than Premsta and Zadok, right? Or maybe we use like, I don't know, Rava, instead of Rava, some other legendary Frost hero, right? I'm pretty sure that could do way more damage. So those are the substitutions here for Vasska. So I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, please leave a like, subscribe, stuff like that. It really helps. Appreciate it. And thank you for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye.